Hey, Amy Posner here, and I want to talk to you today about one of the ways that you can smooth out client projects. Kind of starts back even before the project begins, and that's client communication and setting expectations. So, I am a firm believer that the better clients want somebody who's really capable and who delivers, if not VIP customer service, at least really careful, conscientious, and probably excellent customer service. And so one of the things that's true, and I talk about this a lot, so forgive me if you've heard this before, but when somebody hires a contractor, usually they come to you, they've got a challenge, right? They have a problem that needs a solution. And the truth is, unless they hire a contractor who they can fully trust is capable to take the thing off their plate, then they still have their hands in it. They're still responsible for it. The best feeling when you hire someone is like, great, they're responsible, I know it's going to get done, and it's going to get done on time. And one of the things that reassures clients that you are that person is to have systems and processes in place to run projects and pretty much for everything that happens inside of a project. One of the key things is client communication and setting expectations for how that's going to go down, and even what that's going to look like can begin as soon as the discovery call. Because one of the things people are looking for when they talk to you, right, they're looking for fit, they want to know what skills you have, what your strategic, mind is like, but equally, they want to make sure that they've got somebody reliable that they can trust. And, it's crazy, but the reputation that small business owners and particularly freelancers have for being flaky is really huge. I was surprised because I had always heard that and sort of thought it was a rumor, but I've experienced it myself, hiring people who I thought were super professional because of other dealings I had with them or because of our discovery call, and then to find out that they weren't. They didn't communicate well, they didn't show up on time, they didn't deliver on time. In some cases it really shocked me, but it just underscored how powerful it is when you do offer those things and somebody can rely on you. And a number of things happen. I think you build long-term relationships with repeat business. I think you command better fees. I think all around there's all kinds of reasons that putting these things in place makes sense. But what happens, one of the things that clients always want to know, or I get asked very often, so what's your process? Like, what's it going to be like to work with you? And what I'll say to people is, listen, when you're working with me, you get VIP treatment. I mean, you've literally got bat phone access. If you need me, you can find me. Now, I'm going to caveat that because I'm going to come back to this bat phone access thing because I don't think you should offer that at every level, and I'll tell you why. But I'll tell them, you're going to have access to me, and here's how it's going to work. You will hear from me, and sometimes I do the beginning and end of the week. Sometimes I'll just do one time a week. Sometimes I'll ask them their preference. Depends how complex the project is and how many things we have going. But I'll say, you will hear from me at the end of every week. You'll know exactly what's going on, what to expect in the following week, and where the project stands. So you'll never be, waiting and wondering, is this being worked on, or is she sitting home watching Netflix? You'll know exactly what's going on. So then I tell them, if they've already got something established, I am more than happy to jump onto their platform. My firm belief in, delivering this VIP experience is to make it as easy for the client as I possibly can. My job is to make their job easier. My job is to take that thing off their plate and get it done with the minimum fuss and the minimum input and from them and the minimum worry by them. I'll be saying, so I will communicate with you. Now, do you use a particular platform? Oh, you're on Basecamp. Okay. Well, if you'll add me to this project on Basecamp, I'd be happy to report to you there if that's easiest, or is there another method that you prefer? And so I've told them right there that there's going to be regular communication. Now, continuing on how the copy process works, let's just say, for example, I am doing a lead gen funnel here, and those take about 4 to 6 weeks to complete. And so what I'll tell somebody is, here's what the timeline looks like, and here's what you can expect. I'll be delivering that initial piece probably week 2 or 3. Once you approve that, I have an order in which I create the pieces. But what would be really helpful in terms of meeting the deadline is 2 things. One is I will be sending you copy, and we can even create those dates in advance so you can have them on your calendar, but I'll be sending you copy, and I will need you to review it. And I can give you review guidelines, and I will, but if we can have an agreed turnaround time, we may need to adjust our timetable, which is fine, but I want to know sort of what your working time is going to look like. We need that to keep the momentum. Copy, it's funny because copy does really well with momentum. There's a certain point where it needs to be written and it needs to sit and rest and then be looked at again. But if as the person working on the project steps away from it for too long, there's too much I have to get my head back into in order to start it again. It's kind of funny because when you hire a copywriter, you're kind of renting real estate in our heads, because like when I'm walking my dog or taking a shower, I may be thinking about your project and having ideas, and it's sort of a constant work in progress. But in order for me to keep that momentum and keep thinking and keep iterating the new pieces, it's really helpful if we create some momentum with feedback from you. The other thing that I think is really important here, now this is no longer me talking to the client, I'm stepping over here and talking to you, the viewer. I think the other thing that's important to establish is there are some clients who want you on the phone all the time. They want you to be on their corporate meetings, they want you to sit in, they want to check in with you all this time. And I think you have to be very firm about your time. I mean, your time is what you've got. It's a non-renewable resource, and it's what you're selling, and you can't afford to waste any of it, and you can't afford to do a lot of unpaid meetings. And meetings, for most of us, meetings are really draining. They're interruptive. They take you to a different place. You've got to stop what you're doing. You have to get ready. You have to do the meeting. You have to stop the meeting. Switch now. You have to project task switch again, and it can just really take a huge chunk out of your brain power and your energy for the day. Because writing copy and thinking, it takes a remarkable amount of energy, and so you need to preserve yours. And so then I would ask the client right there, in that discovery call, or it could wait till the onboarding call, but I kind of like to know, because this is a red flag for me. Do you have other things that you are going to need from me, or things that you're going to want me to be present at as we're working together? And that's when a client might say, well, we have these 3 times a week check-ins with the team, and I'd really like to be there because for this 6 weeks you're part of the team. And it's where you gracefully say, that makes it really difficult for my schedule, and I'd almost have to change the scope of the project to be at 3 meetings a week. So do you absolutely need me there for a purpose? Is there something I need to take away from that I can get some other way? Or is there input that you need from me that I can deliver some other way, because 3 meetings a week just won't be realistic for me during the project? Now, basically, I'm just saying no. I am not going to get on the phone with you or on a Zoom with you 3 times a week. And likewise, I will ask a client, how do you like to be communicated with? If I have a bunch of questions throughout the day or the week, would you like me to gang them up? And at the end of the day, every day send you my questions. But how would you like to be communicated with? I mean, some people are like, oh, you got a question, just shoot it over. That's great. Other people are like, yeah, gang them up and I'll look out for the email from you and I'll get them all at once. And I'll say to them, likewise, for communicating with me, it works best if you do X. And what I'm trying to tell them is, no, I'm not going to hop on the phone with you. I'm not going to take a quick minute to discuss something. I don't run into that really very much, but I know a lot of people do. And I know at the more entry level, when you're beginning your career, that's more common. People make demands on you and you kind of think you have to scramble to meet them without realizing that you're able to make your own rules, which you are, which I'm encouraging you to do here. So the clearer you are, the better off you'll be. The processes and the systems are really reassuring to people, because they feel like if you have processes and systems in place, then you're a true pro. And I teach this when I teach sales call training, what I tell people is you really need to run that call, and in a very deliberate way. And part of the message you're delivering is if you can run a sales call and sort of guide them that well, then you can run a project too. How you position yourself speaks volumes to them. And even if they don't know exactly what you're saying, chances are good they're talking to 2 or 3 different people. If you're, if it's a brand new hire, a new relationship, they're taking you on for a new project, they're probably talking to some other people. And what will stand out about you is that you talked about strategy, that you talked about systems and processes, that you had a sense of how the project was going to go and you were going to tell them. Because that's what indicates to the serious people, this is a person who can take this thing off my plate, handle it fully and completely, get it done, and get it done reliably. Truthfully, if you can do that, you can do that consistently, and you get yourself into the right market, and that is a market that buys copy on a regular basis, then you'll ingratiate yourself to people to where they want to keep you on board forever, because you're so easy to do business with. It goes without saying that you do good quality work as well. Obviously, you can be the nicest, most competent person in the world and a great project manager, but if you don't write good copy, you're probably not going to get hired for that anytime again soon. So it goes without saying, and I will also say to you here, just as a caveat, you're probably a lot better of a copywriter than you think you are, and that's true with most people. I see a lot of copy, and our insecurity can really get to us. You create copy alone in a cave. So if you're feeling a little insecure about your copy, get help with that. But understand that layering on the business skills with the copy skills is what allows you to up level. It's what allows you to be seen as a strategist and as a team player. Know this. You're a business owner, and it's perfectly fine for you to set your terms. You can say no to a client. Hey, we need you to, come to our morning meeting every morning while you're on the project. Oh, I thank you so much for inviting me, but you know what? Every morning, that's my focused writing time. I need to have that carved out and preserved. So is there anything in those meetings that you will particularly need to convey to me, or anything that you will need from me? Because let's prepare another way to do that. I'm sorry, but thank you for inviting me. And that's it, period, end of story. If you want me, you're going to get me, but you're not going to get me in 5 meetings a week. If you need somebody who's in 5 meetings a week, let me refer you to someone else, because that is not a fit for me. And even if you're, if you're brand new, or if you're inside a project or inside your first project, look at what you do. What's every stage of the process, from sales call to proposal to onboarding call to doing your research. What has to happen in each of those? Because, you're going to repeat those every time. Maybe not in the exact same way, but you will walk through the exact same steps and the exact same process. And so if you start to document your process and systematize it, you'll save yourself time because you won't be reinventing the wheel every time, and you can really impress your clients. That's going to give someone so much comfort. In fact, it's something that people are willing to pay a premium for. If you charge a high price, but you offer great service, I see myself in that category. People are more than happy to pay the price, and they're very, very satisfied with everything that they get. And again, that's not every client, but you want to find the clients for whom that is true, because they're going to be a better fit for you. So thank you for listening. I encourage you to be bold and hold a firm line, but also be gracious. I see so many people who think the client is the adversary. They're out there trying to get as much from you for as little money as they can. And I really don't see that. The good copy clients respect copywriters. They value the work you do. They want to pay you as well as they're able for that work. It should be like a really nice synergistic relationship. It's not adversarial. And likewise, don't see them as a blank checkbook where you're trying to do the least work and get the most money. Get in there and be a partner and help them problem solve, and you'll make yourself indispensable to all your clients. And I do have a niching document that's available. If you want to find out which industries do pay and where you might want to look to do these things, it's amyposner.com/choose-your-niche. We've got the URL right there. Feel free to get that document. That might help you to figure out where to place yourself. So again, thank you for listening. If you'd like to know when these episodes are dropped and new, click the bell and you will be notified. Put any questions below and I will answer them personally. Bye for now.